All right. Good morning, everybody. Today we.
Good morning,
Right. Today is today's Daf Yomi.
Okay.
So we'll start from the beginning of the parak, the Mishnah on the bottom of Yud Ches Amud Beis. Please, thank you. Just black, yeah. All right. So it says Zak the Mishnah of the beginning of the third parak, and the way we go Seder Taniyos Elu Ha'omer Beravia Rishena. That which we've been talking about, the Seder Taniyos, right? When they have the three Yechidim, then they have the 337. That was referring to when it doesn't rain for the first rain. About but if they have the crops changed, right? We'll soon see. The Gemara will ask what it is. If they change from the normal growth, then this is more of an emergency. Then we're Masriyan Alei Miyad. Then we go ahead and we institute the Masriyan is referring to the level, right? It's like the code 3 in terms of the fast, the last 7. On those level, we go ahead and in other words, we don't build up to do a 337. Rather, we just start with those on that severity. So too, if it stops to rain after the first rains before the next one, 40 days, then we're Masriyan Aleim. Because that is it's a type of a food shortage which could lead to famine. If it began to grow, right, for some of the sprouts, but it didn't go for the trees, or for the ilan, or for the trees, and not for the vegetables, the plants, or the zevel, the bars, the chicken, or but it grew for those who go in the field, but did not go ahead and fill up the reservoirs and the pits, the maras. Then we go ahead, and if those don't all get it, then we're once again masrin alei miyad. Then we go ahead and we go to the level 3. Even if you have one town that had, other town that didn't, the pasuk says, where it's describing a curse, right? One city I'm going to go ahead and give, right? And that one's going to give too much, and one city is not going to have at all. And for them, basically, it's going to be a calamity. It's going to be a fast. It's going to be a famine over there, and therefore, we say that we're masrin alamiyah. And Oisa'ir, so that city which doesn't have the rain, right? Oisa'ir misana, top of the page in the New Testament Aleph. Oisa'ir misana umisras, right? That they fast and they begin their trua, right? Or masrin, right? They begin with all the shofar and the extra brachos and the lack in they don't work and so on and so forth. The other surrounding towns, they fast, but they do not necessarily go to a level 3. Rabbi Kiva Imer, Masriyos v'loy misanos. So Rabbi Kiva says, no, they actually do all those other things in terms of malach and other things. However, they don't complete a fast.
So what they're saying is that those extra brachos are not added until the last 7,
right?
Together with the shofar.
Right, that was right. We had machlokas whether it was included with the second set, but that and also the forbidden siyas malacha and other types of inui. Those things are also right. So to a city that had right a type of a plague or pestilence or right or also the buildings fall. That city, they fast, they're matrian. But however, the surrounding towns, those fast, but they don't do the full-fledged, with all the extra additional tefillos and shofros. I guess maybe an earthquake, or there's very heavy winds that are blowing. Right,
the whole Surfside was supposed to fast.
Right, but it says right. It could be something that it was like for many buildings were at risk, not just one, right? But it could be, yeah. And Rabbi Kiva Masriyos v'loy misanos. Rabbi Kiva says, no. They do Masriyos, they do all the other brachas, but they don't do a complete fast. And Ezu Dever was considered to be a Dever. Seira Motzia Chamesh Meos Ragle. All right, a city that has 500 people. The Yatzimana Gimel Mesim, and 3 people died, but Gimel Yaman in 3 days. That was 1 a day. Zacher Zeh Harei Zeh Dever. That's considered to be a Dever, right? That's considered some sort of plague pestilence that's upon the town. They have at least 500 people, and 1 a day are dying. Pachas Mikan Ein Zeh Dever. The less than that, right? The death rate is less, and that's not or there's less people dying. It's not Dever. And now Elu Masrim B'Chol Makom, and these are the ones that Masrim B'Chol Makom. In other words, these are calamities that perhaps could spread, right, from one to the other, and it's not just going to be isolated inside like over there, but perhaps it could spread. So therefore, everyone has to go ahead and be mispala. Al Shidafa, and what's it called? The wind. What's it called? The wind blast, right? Al Shidafa, or the crops start to turn yellow. Al Arba, different types of locusts. Or wild animals, or a incoming army. Then they are masrin. Then it's a level 3 type of fast, and because this is basically a traveling makkah, it can come here next. And my see, there's a we're leaving Yerushalayim to their cities. The Gazatani saw Kamale Tono or Shidafon Ashkelon, and they saw some of the rabbis saw that in Ashkelon. Right, one part of the country, they saw that there was the size of start turning yellow. The wind blast on part of some of the crops there, the size of the opening of an oven, and they were gozer fast, right? They had fast. And also another time that they had a fast for these wolves ate 2 babies on the other side of the Yarden. Not that they were actually even eaten, they didn't, but they were seen. They were seen, and therefore that's a danger. Al Elu,
the wolves were
seen, right? They didn't necessarily kill 2 or babies. So Al Elu Masrin B'Shabbos, we saw this earlier, and these are the ones that they go ahead. The Masrin, they cry out on Shabbos. We said it's not referring to the shofar, rather it's referring to the extra tefillos. Al Eir Shikifu Nachrim, a city that was surrounded by a gayim or nahar or a river that was a flooding. The Asvina Mitrefes, or a ship that was stuck out at sea. Biyam. Now that which we're masrin, and knows we don't go ahead and we're not tefillos. Rather, we call out and try and get help for them. And Shimon Temani Amir Afal Dever, he says even for Dever, even for type of plague, then you go ahead and they are masrin on Shabbos, or their pestilence. However, did not agree. And I'll call Tzara Shalei Tzibur Masrin Alei, and for any tzara that is not called Tzibur, they also Masrin Alei, they can go ahead and be Masrin because it chutz meirov gesham, except for too much rain. Right, too much rain is, despite that it's not good, it's not necessarily considered to be a calamity. So the Ma'aseh said, go ahead and be mispal that it should rain. So go ahead and bring in your ovens, right, for Pesach. It's going to rain, right? They won't get ruined. So he started to daven. Choni Maga started to daven, and it did not rain. So what did he do? Uga of the Amad B'Seicha. He drew a circle. He stood inside of Amar Lefanav. And he said, "The Gosh Baruch Hu, Ribbani Shalom, Vanecha, some Paneim Alai." Right, your children, they have basically depended on me. They've turned to me. Shani Kiben Ba'is Lefanach. I'm like it's like a resident in your house. Nishbani B'Shimcha Agadol Sheini Zaz Mikan Ad Shetarachem Abanecha. I make a shvua in your great name that I will not leave here the circle until you have mercy upon your children. So began to go ahead and drizzle. I didn't say this. Rather, enough water to go ahead and fill up all the reservoirs, right? All the pits, all the caves, right? Then it came a downpour. So I'm like, rather, no, nice, pleasant rain for the blessing. So Yardu Kasiknan, then it rained properly. Ad Sheyatzu Yisrael Mishalayim, until it was started to flood. The water came up. Even people from Yerushalayim left Harabayis. They went up to Harabayis, right? They went up the roads there, right? from like Siloam area, right? They went up there, right? So from the rains. So so they said it's enough, right? So it's just like you stopped. You pray for it at the start. Now you got to pray for it at the stop. Go ahead and see. There used to be a large rock they used to go ahead and announce lost objects from. They would stand, I guess, on top of it. So they said if that's covered up, there's rain up there, then then it's too much. So Shalach la Shimon ben Shetach says Shimon ben Shetach says if you weren't chayni, because rainy alech and you do it right. I would put you in the chayrim for the way you talk to Hakadosh Baruch Hu. What can I do? Right? It's like your son who he sins, right? He talks, direct about Kadosh Baruch Hu, and he does what you want. Like a child, right? Who might wrong his father, but the father still does his wishes. So it says over there that right, your father and mother, they'll be happy, that they gave birth to you. And how you miss if they fasted or they're called a fast and began to rain. If it was before the morning, then they should not go ahead and complete it. However, if it started to rain after sunrise, then they should finish it. If it rains before chatzos, then you should finish. However, it's only started to rain after chatzos, then you should go ahead and finish it. One time they were guys and Ludwig Geshamim. It started to rain before chatzos. Rabbi Tarfon too. The achlu, the shasu. Go ahead, you can go. You don't have to fast. Eat, drink. Vasu yanta, make it yanta because it began to rain today. V'yatsu v'achlu v'shasu vasu yantif. Ubo ben Arbaim. Then when the afternoon came, the karu halal hagadol. And they said halal hagadol. Fine. That was the Mishnah of the parak.
According to the Mishnah, if there's a serious plague, you also declare a serious plague.
Right, Dever.
Dever.
We said it before.
When COVID started,
they
declared the public fast.
There were places. Yeah. All right. So the Gemara. Say the Taniyas. Ha'elu. So these Taniyas. Say the Taniyas. Ha'elu. Ha'omer b'Revia Rishena. So we said. So our Mishnah said that these fasts that we did talking about is if it doesn't rain. If it doesn't rain, Revia Rishena, then you do the 337. I to me as a kashin Revia Rishena Rishena Shnia Lisha. In the beginning of it, it's supposed to be the time of the first rain of the second rain. So you go ahead and you ask, and Shlisha doesn't rain by the third rain, then Lisanos. Then you begin to go ahead and fast. So Rav Yehuda Haki Kamar, so it's a contradiction. So he said, no, Haki Kamar. This is what I'm going to say. Say the Taniyas Ha'omer Amasai. So those say that we've said until now, the 337. When is that? Bizman Shiyatza Ravia Rishayna Shnev Shlishis La Yardu Geshamim. That's when the first rains, which is the first, second, and third series, are part of all the beginning during Cheshvan, right? So it says those rains. Then they come La Yardu Geshamim. Yardu Geshamim the Ravia Rishayna. However, let's say it starts to rain. Let's say the first rain. V'zaru, and then they begin to grow v'loit simchu, right? And then the inami simchu v'chazav v'nishtanu. They grow or it grew a little bit, then it changed, went bad. Then you go ahead and you call out immediately because now it looks like the crop will be done for the season, right? It's one thing it's delayed. So when it's delayed, you can do the 337. But all of a sudden, if the crop is at risk that it might not survive and therefore the entire crop will be wiped out, then Masrin Lamiyat. A number of Nachman Dafka Nishtanu Dafka, if it changes about Yoshu, low. But if it's basically if they dried out, then it's no good. Why? So it says Pshita, Nishtanu Tanan. It says that if they change, what does it mean? Letzricha Diiku. Maybe they started to grow a little bit after it dried up. Or just kind of the milsahi that they grew a little bit, and therefore, since it grew a little bit, maybe if it just rains a little more, maybe the dried out plants will grow again. So Kamash Malad, then no, once it dries out, even if it grows a little bit, it's not going to dry out completely, and therefore the drying for more rain will not help it. So too, if it stopped raining, we said between the rains, 40 days. So then he says also food shortages. So my makas pitzaras. What does it mean? Like this makas pitzaras, the makkah of famine. So I'm Rav makkah pitzaras, right? Food shortages that will lead to famine. And Amar Rav Nachman says Rav Nachman such as Nahara, right? If it's from river to river, in other words, there's food down the river, and you can go ahead and send the food down boats, which is easier, then that's considered to be a betsursa, Medina. All right, betsursa. That is considered to be food shortage, right? However, Medina's kafna. But if it is full from one place to another, they have to travel the lands, then that's considered to be an actual full-fledged famine. Sa besela. If it's sa besela, so it's expensive. The shchicha. However, it's found there's abundance of food. Betsurasa, then that's considered to be just a shortage, because the food is very expensive. Arba, where's that? Arba, right? Arba sa besela, right? If it's now 4, right? You get 4 sa for 1 sela. In other words, it's cheap. But it's not found. You can't find it. Then kafna. You missed the turn the page, right? Then it's a kafna. Then we say it's a famine. And Amar Rabbi Yechanan leishanu ela b'zman shama is bezul. Right? When do we say it's only considered to be a food shortage? Leishanu ela b'zman shama is bezul. When the money is cheap, uperos biyuker, and fruit if it was expensive, maos biyuker, uperos bezul. But then if the money is cheap, and people have money, but the food is cheap, but there's not a lot, then then they go ahead and they cry out immediately. Right? I remember when the prices were very low. Right? However, there are people that even though the food was cheap, but people were starving. They had bloated stomachs because they didn't have money to go ahead and purchase the food. So even though the food was very cheap, just nobody had money to go ahead and purchase the food. Fine. 2 dots. Yadu, let's make a elon. If it rained for the growths, right, for the sprouts, for the vegetables, but not for the trees. So bishlam, let's make a elon. I understand how it can go ahead for vegetables, not trees. Right, like a nice light rain, it doesn't go all the way down. It doesn't come down heavy. The elam lights, and also how you can have rain that waters trees and that waters vegetables. Right, when I was with the heavy rain, it penetrates deep. But however, it's not light, therefore it doesn't stay on top. Even for those two, but however, it doesn't go ahead and fill up the reservoirs and the cisterns. Right, in the caves, when it only rains appropriately for the trees, for the stuff that's in the field, but there's no excessive rain that would fill up all the reservoirs. But how do you have too much without the extra, without watering also the trees and the vegetables? When it comes, I guess, so hard that when it comes that hard, that quick, then it really doesn't help the trees and the vegetables growing, but it goes directly to the overage and to fill up the cisterns. We go ahead and we immediately, we call out, right, for the trees, Pesach, right? Pesach is a lotion of 2 weeks, right, before Pesach, right? Before Pesach. In other words, Rosh Chodesh.
2 weeks before Pesach.
Right, for the trees that are usually, right, in the healthy budding period at this point in time, those trees must be before Pesach. And Barz V'Shichin, Omaros Afilu B'Freisachah. Even if they say that it's very low, right? Even the time very low, where the drinking water is very low, even 2 weeks for Pesach, for Sukkot, right? Then they'll call for that. The Akulon, any of them, right? There's not water, immediate water to go ahead and drink. Then then we cry out immediately. It wasn't immediately. Then we start with a Monday, Thursday, Monday. The Akulon. And now what you said, we cry out is only, I guess, in their place. In their place, right? In that Malchus. The Askara, right? Askara, right? This is a type of in your mouth, in your throat. People die from it, right? I don't know. COVID, I don't know. This man, no, it's like a throat ailment. Diphtheria, yeah.
Right.
So when people die from Mesrin, then we go ahead and we cry out. Then there is no special Mesrin. Masrin al Gavai b'choshu. And we also go ahead and we're masrin al these types of locusts, right? They eat all the grains, right? Also chagav, also I guess another type of locust, maybe perhaps not as severe, right? As that's why he added on. And right? We go ahead and if the trees are dying, they're not producing, then even during the other years of Shemitah, right, years 1 through 6, then we go ahead and cry out. But you don't cry out for trees during Shemitah. But if it's the reservoirs are dry, then those we cry out and daven even during the year of Shemitah. And we even cry out for the trees during Shemitah. Why? Because that's how the poor people eat, and therefore that's their parnasa. So therefore we go ahead and we cry out. Even during a Shemitah year for trees. And Tani Dachsinu and the Bryce, we go ahead and we cry out for trees. Bishnar Shnei Shavua, only during the other 6 years of the Shemitah cycle, but not during the Shemitah year. But if there's the wells and the cisterns, and those are short of water, then we cry out for that even during the years of Shemitah. Rabbi Shimon says, even al elilanos, masrin al svichim. Right, even during the years of even for trees, then masrin, then we go out. Also, even the sprouts and the shoots that they grow during the Shemitah year, those aren't growing because of lack of rain. We do cry out because that's what the poor people eat during the years of Shemitah. Tanya, we're going to write Amar Rabbi Eliezer, right? Amar Rabbi Eliezer ben Parta b'yom shechar Beis Hamikdash. However, once the day when the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, Nasu Geshamim Tzimukin, then the rains basically were turned Tzimukin, right? They were tightened. They don't rain as it did. All right, Liyalim, right? Tzimukin Liyalim. It was basically tightened for the world. There are years when there's a lot of rain. There's years when there's a little rain. There are years when the rain is in its proper time. And there's also years that doesn't go ahead and rain properly. So a year when the rains in its appropriate time, it wasn't similar to the So when the master gives his slave, okay, we need food for Shabbos for the week.
The master. The Eved
his master gave him parnasa be'acha b'Shabbos on Sunday. The name says, the name says, right? Isa nafes kasikno. So since he got it on Sunday, he was able to prepare for the prior week appropriately because he had everything for the entire week. Then he's able to go ahead and bake properly v'nechas kasikna and eat it properly. Shana shengish yardim izmanam. However, a year where it doesn't rain in its proper time, it can come early, come late. What's similar to the Evish of Shabbos? It's like a slave whose master gave him, right, the flour and the ingredients on Erev Shabbos, and expecting for Shabbos. So then he says, Isa nefesh lo kitzikna. It turns out that the dough and the flour wasn't made properly. But nefesh lo kitzikna. It's also didn't have proper time to go ahead and bake. And Shana Shegashemel Meruba, in years when there's a lot of rain, it's like a master who gave him all this stuff for the entire year at one time. So Nimtzu Rechayim Tchanas Menakor Mashnanas Menakav. Right. Turns out that when he goes ahead and he grinds it, right? So by the millstone, there's only a certain every time you grind, you lose a small amount. But that a small amount doesn't matter how much you grind, it's always that amount. It's not gonna lose more if you do abundance. So if you do all your grinding for a year, it turns out that you'll lose very little. Right? It turns out that which is lost from eating a kur is the same as eating a kav, and therefore you do the best. You can go, you have the rainwater in the reservoirs, you can have it in the fields, so all appropriate places. However, years when it's not enough, he only gives it to them, not even on a weekly basis, a little by little. Right? It turns out that since he's grinding it multiple times, almost daily, therefore he's losing a lot more of the grains in order for to make the food. It turns out that the amount of bread he's making from a kur is is what can be eaten from a kav, which is a much larger amount. That's how much he loses. Davar acher. What's the right? So a person who's going ahead and he's, I guess, mixing the mortar. If he has all the water before, then he knows how to, what to use, and therefore none of it goes bad, and he's able to go ahead and mix it well. However, if he has little by little, so then he's not able to go ahead and mix it appropriately because he only gets a little by day, and therefore it does not work out well. And Tanur Abanan. So Pam Achas, we'll finish with this Maisa. It goes into the next page. So Pam Achas, one time. Every day all went the regular Yushalayim. Didn't have water. So Halach Nakdimon Ben Gurion Eitzel Adon Echad. So Nakdimon went to a certain nobleman, a high person, right, prime minister, right? Yeah. So he went to Adon Echad. So Amar Lo. Let me borrow 12 cisterns or reservoirs of water for those people that are being oil regal, right? I'll pay you back the same amount. And if I don't give it back by a certain time, I'll give you a certain amount of silver. The couple of money takes time. Once the time came and it didn't rain, the shachas in the morning, okay, no, today's the day. Either give me the money or give me my water. Right, knowing full well he didn't have the water. So he sent back to the officer. He says, I still call him kula. I still the entire day. Call him kula shali. It's all mine. All right, who? But Tzarayim in the afternoon, shalach lo shigali mayim omos sheish li bedecha. So he said in the afternoon, okay, no, it didn't rain today. This afternoon already. No, either give me my money or give me my water. So shalach lo adayin yesh li shus b'yayim b'mincha. No, I still have time in the afternoon. So mincha shalach lo shigali mayim omos. Give me either water or money. Shalach lo b'yedecha. They I have in your hands. So shalach lo adayin yesh lecha shus b'yayim. No, the day's not over yet. So Gilgal love he mocked him that the Roman officer he mocked him. The entire year it doesn't rain. The achshav. And now Yardu Kshem is going to rain. So Nichlas the base of Merchas. He went inside the base of Merchas. Besimcha. He was happy. I'm going to get my money when I come later. Sha'ada Nichlas Besimchas the base of Merchas. Nichlas the base of Mikdash. Sha'atze v'nisate. Same time he went to the base of Merchas. This Roman officer, right? Nakdimon went into the base of Mikdash. He was all sad. He wrapped himself. Ava Amar Betfilin Stern Tfilo Amar Lefana Ribono Shalom. I didn't do this for my own base Ava or my father's house at Sisi. I did it for you at Sisi. In order there should be water for those who are Ola Regal. Mian is Kasha Shemayim. Of him immediately clouds formed. The Yardik Shemayim rained. Until they completely got full. They see and there was extra. Before he left the Merchas, Nakdima Ben Gurion Base Hamikdash. He left the Base Hamikdash and the officer left the base of Merchas, the bathhouse. When they bumped into each other, says Nakdima to this officer, give me, now you owe me money because there's extra water in your reservoirs. I filled them up more than I took. I know HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world for you. I know it rained in your honor. However, I have one time, which is going to finish this Maisa, but it rained. We went inside. It became night, and then it rained afterwards. So it rained at nighttime, not yours. Yardu chazav nichas beis mikdash. Nakdim says, hold on, man, 1 second. He went to the base of mikdash. He put on his talis. He davening and Ribono Shalom. You know, you're beloved in this world. When he's part of him, now do it for those who are loved by, right, who are beloved to you. So Miyad, the clouds dispersed, the Zarcha Hachama B'Yosha, and the sun came out again. So the sun came out. So it was sunny. So Amar Lo Ha'adon Ilulo Nigdara Chama Hayal Pisal Pet. If the sun wouldn't come out, I would have had arguments. That you can give me my money. And Tana Loy Nakdimon Shemo. His name was not Nakdima and Ella Buni Shemo. His name was Buni. Shemo. Nakdima was called Nakdima Shenikdara Chava Bavura because the sun shone in his honor. Because the sun came out. Yeah, because we'll switch to the next Gemara. We'll go into it. All right, we'll stop here. Shkayach, everybody.